What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video and for my next movie review, I am going to be talking about a movie I just watched recently. It's up there as one of my favorite comedies of all time. I'll tell you right now, this isn't going to be a negative review at all. And the movie is Zoolander. Zoolander came out in 2001. And it stars Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Will Ferrell, Christine Taylor, and many others. This movie, real quick about the movie, it's about a male model named Derek Zoolander, who's very successful at what he does in the fashion industry as a male model. He runs into some events. There's events in his life. There's a big event in his life that culminates in him questioning who he is and stuff like that, what he is, and then there's this evil guy named Jacobin Mugatu, played by Will Ferrell, who Derek Zoolander is played by Ben Stiller. Mugatu tries to brainwash Derek Zoolander into assassinating the Prime Minister of Malaysia so that child labor can stay in Malaysia, stay in Malaysia, stay all around the world and stuff like that, so that fashion can benefit from child labor. So that's his evil plan. Zoolander has to try to stop it with the help of a younger model, another model, Hansel, played by Owen Wilson, and a reporter who's played by Christine Taylor. Interesting fact, actually, Christine Taylor and Ben Stiller are husband and wife. They were married in 2000, so it was their first year of being married when Zoolander came out. Stiller and Christine Taylor, they have banded together in the past. They banded together for Dodgeball in 2004. Dodgeball, A True Underdog Story, another really good comedy. And they banded together for Tropic Thunder that came out in 2008. Those have been their collaborations thus far as husband and wife. So, in a nutshell, that is the plot of the movie. And let's get into the characterization first. Let's start with Ben Stiller as Derek Zoolander. He is awesome in just being the dumbest male model alive. He's not the smartest tool in the shed. Let's just say that. So it's like, how can he save the world, and how can he defeat Mugatu and stuff like that is what you're thinking, kind of. He's a dumb male model. Some of the stuff he says is so funny. You have to watch the movie, definitely, for some of the stuff he does say. He originated the idea, I believe there was an MTV Movie Awards. The idea generated from that. It was written for, it was VH1. There were these VH1 Fashion Awards television specials in 1996 and 1997. And it starred, these short films starred Ben Stiller as Derek Zoolander. And eventually the movie was made in 2001. And this is a satire on the fashion industry, for sure. It portrays male models as dumb. Very smart at what they do, male modeling, but not very smart in the head. So, but Ben Stiller just does a masterful job at playing Derek Zoolander, and he is one of the best parts of the movie. Owen Wilson is Hansel. he plays a good second fiddle, sort of, to to Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson have been in about 12 million movies together. I think it's actually about 12 total, actually, but Owen Wilson is excellent as Hansel. I mean, he provides a good secondary character. You know, rival turned friend, basically, is kind of what he is. And he just brings his Owen Wilsonness to... I just made up the word, Owen Wilsonness. He just brings Owen Wilson to Zoolander, for sure. He plays the same character in just about every film. Owen Wilson does. Now, I've done videos on Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. They were earlier videos and all that. I've done videos on those two and Will Ferrell. Let's get to Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell as Jacobin Mugatu is the star of the movie. I know Derek Zoolander is really... I mean, Ben Stiller as Derek Zoolander is really good. But Will Ferrell steals the show as Mugatu. I mean, this movie right here proved, I mean, it opened a lot of people's eyes to what Will Ferrell can do, you know? There were people that saw him on Saturday Night Live. I mean, Will Ferrell, obviously, very popular from that. And it was a test, you know? There were a lot of SNL stars before him that came out that went on to successful movie careers after SNL. Will Ferrell proved, I think Will Ferrell did the Zoolander movie while he was still in SNL, but anyway, this kind of proved, hey, this guy could be pretty good in movies. Old School, a couple years later in 2003, just broke out. It was his breakout. But I still think that Jacobin Mugatu is the best character that Will Ferrell's ever played. Better than Ricky Bobby. I love Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. You know, I love the character he plays, Chaz, I think. Actually, the Chaz character, it's uncredited, but in Wedding Crashers, it's a good Will Ferrell role, even though it's only uncredited. Another uncredited role, he plays a guy named Big Earl in Starsky and Hutch. His character in Blades of Glory. Blades of Glory's awesome. But definitely, Will Ferrell as Mugatu is the best character he's ever done, in my opinion. And he is the star of the movie. Christine Taylor as the reporter, who gets involved with Zoolander. She does good as a sort of the straight person in the movie. You have the craziness and zaniness of Stiller, Wilson, and Ferrell. Taylor provides a good balance, kind of. She's the straight character, the one who, it seems like, is doing all the work, basically. But yeah, Christine Taylor is really good in the movie. She is good. One person to mention, Milla Jovovich. She plays Mugatu's right-hand lady. And she does a good job in the film. You know, she does a pretty good job. Jerry Stiller. Jerry Stiller's another guy. Jerry Stiller does a really good job in this film as, the character he plays is Maury Ballstein. Just the name itself is funny. And, yeah, I mean, Jerry Stiller does a very good job in the movie. Jerry Stiller and Ben Stiller, interesting fact, are father and son. Jerry Stiller's Ben Stiller's father. Well, you may remember Jerry Stiller as Mr. Costanza on Seinfeld and on King of Queens. More for his TV career. But Jerry Stiller is very good in the movie. David Duchovny plays a former hand model. who is kind of integral. He only has like a couple scenes, but he's very important to the plot of the movie, and he does a good job. Jon Voight, Angelina Jolie's dad, he plays Ben Stiller's Zoolander's father. Now the only complaint I would have about Zoolander, the only complaint I have, is that Vince Vaughn wasn't properly utilized in this movie. He only had a cameo role. He played one of Zoolander's brothers. Non-speaking role, so he did not speak at all. It would have been interesting to see Vince Vaughn have more of a role in Zoolander. Honestly, it would have been something. So it was kind of a disappointment that Vince Vaughn didn't have a bigger role in the movie. But it was kind of early on in his career. And, I mean, it was after Swingers came out. Swingers was a big movie that propelled Vince Vaughn's career. So it kind of is strange that Vince Vaughn sort of didn't have a bigger role. But that's the only complaint I have about Zoolander. Zoolander is a hilarious movie. You know, it's one of those movies that there's no laughs every single second, but when the laughs do come, they're hilarious. I mean, just the idiocy of Derek Zoolander, the kooky evilness of Jacobin Mugatu. Hansel adds to the game as well. It's just, Zoolander's an incredibly funny movie. And surprisingly, Zoolander didn't do extremely well at the box office. On a budget of $28 million, it only made $60.7 million. It made a profit, but it just wasn't big, you know? It just didn't really make a lot of money. But, I mean, the movie got a 64% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very good for a comedy. For a straight comedy like that. I'm gonna give it, I mean, if you hadn't guessed already, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5 stars. Zoolander is one of my favorite comedies ever. It's in my top 10. It really is. Maybe even top 5 comedies of all time. Perhaps even top 5 movies of all time. Zoolander, I could watch that movie over and over and over again. If I catch it on cable, I'll definitely watch it. And it is a phenomenally funny comedy movie for sure. And good news for all the Zoolander fans. Zoolander 2 is coming out. Zoolander 2. It is going to be Zoolander number 2, actually. It's going to have Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, and Will Ferrell back. So Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Will Ferrell, and Christine Taylor are all back. Sorry about that. But yeah, actually, interesting fact, this movie was directed by Ben Stiller. One of Ben Stiller's directing efforts. The first Zoolander, and Ben Stiller will be returning to direct the second Zoolander as well. So, he has that. So anyway, Zoolander 2, Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Will Ferrell, Milla Jovovich. Milla Jovovich is in the movie. And then some new characters. Penelope Cruz, a well-known actress. She's in the movie. Kristen Wiig is in the movie. She could be really funny in Zoolander 2. Kristen Wiig's hilarious anyway. Another SNL alum like Will Ferrell is. But, yeah, I'm excited about Zoolander 2. It's coming out February 12th of next year. It's on my list of most anticipated films of 2016. And I'll actually have that video coming out coming out pretty soon, probably end of December, towards end of December, I'll have my list of anticipated movies for 2016. Movies to look out for, stuff like that. So that's it for this video on Zoolander. D-Rock 1992 out.